Hello everyone. We have learned learning by conditioning in the previous episode. In this episode, we will go for the second one. Before going to that, let us consolidate the definitions of learning so far what we have learned. We have learned two definitions of learning. The first one is permanent change in the behavior which brings learning. The second one is the correction of mistake. What could be the third definition on learning based on the classical condition? If we could think on this way, then your thought is right. Learning is new connection between stimulus and response. So, see these images. However, can we say what could be the name of the next theory on learning? So here are the images in which the kid tries to put the blocks in the correct hole, maybe by number of trials. Hence, the second theory is trial and error. Trial and error is given by a psychologist Edward Lee Thorndike. His experiment is this. He has taken an angry cat and thrown inside a cage in which it has a lever. If one presses the lever, the cage opens, the cat can come out. So the cat is thrown inside and it was locked. At the first instant, it may not be knowing the working of the lever. If we press, it will come out. Accidentally, it keeps rotating, and accidentally, some part of the cat it may fill up on the lever, and if the cage gets open, the cat will come out. So instantaneously, the psychologist again took the cat and thrown inside the cage, locked the door. This time also, the cat may not be knowing, it keeps rotating inside the cage. Accidentally, some part of the body may fill on the lever, the door opens, it comes. Likewise, it happened for many times. After several trials, when the psychologist threw the cat inside the cage, it directly went to the lever, pulls the lever, and it comes out. So it has learnt how to come out. So this is what we say trial and error. As in the x-axis you can see the trials, and in y-axis it is the number of times. So at the first trial it has taken 240 seconds to escape from the day, 240 seconds. See at the 20th, so how much it maybe like 25 seconds or so roughly. So that much time it has taken to come out of 25 seconds it has taken to come out of the cage. So as the number of trial increases, the time taken to escape from the cage decreases. So this one we call trial and error learning. So all skill learning, it's based on trial. Whatever is a skill. So skill in India is a famous phrase. So what we mean with skill? So skill is cooking, swimming, writing, reading, playing cricket, or any games, sports and games. Everything we call it as a skill. If we want to learn skill, it's by trial and error. On the first day itself, we may not be learning more. It's a gradual increase in the learning. As we keep on practicing, so we'll be knowing about the skill much more. Okay. So after his experiment, he has given many laws of learning. Out of which three are more important. Let us see the laws of learning by Thorndike. So law of readiness, law of exercise, law of effect. So these are called laws of learning. So from the name itself, we can get something. So law of readiness is that it says that a student has to be ready before the before we start to teach. Before the teacher start to teach, the learner has to be ready. Okay? That's what the law of readiness says. That's why you as a student teacher, whenever we write the lesson plan, our first step in the lesson plan is the motivation. So motivation means it's not that a teacher directly goes to the class and start teaching the concept of the day. So as we keep go inside the class, we may ask, "Have you taken food? How are you?" Just 1 or 2 minutes, and these are the words which keep them ready for the class. So suppose if you imagine there may be number of periods in a day, maybe 7 periods roughly, and as one period closes when the next period opens, there has to be some gap for the students. They cannot continuously learn some gap. And as a new teacher enters in the class, so few questions may be asked. Because even some quiz can be kept or the news of the day, maybe a small demonstration. So whatever we think, just we can. So then we can go to the subject, or we can revise the yesterday's portion. Some few thought-provoking questions the teacher may ask. Revision. So these serve as motivation, and then we can go to the today's class. So that is called law of readiness. Then law of exercise. So exercise, as we know, so doing again and again. So as we do a task again and again, we may learn it as like in simple physical drill also. So suppose we are doing a task again and again, then we will remember the concept very well. So this is called what law of exercise. So one time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. If we keep learning, then we may understand the concepts. Then the third one is law of effect, which says that uh, after the learning, it has to be a positive effect on the students. If there is a positive effect, the learning is stamped in. It is stamped in. And if there is a negative effect, the learning is stamped out, as as the words of the Edward Lee Thorndike. So so that this we may call as affective domain, maybe the interests, the emotions. This law of ethics speaks of those affective domain, emotions. So if it is in a positive kind of environment, the learning is stamped in the minds of students. If it is a negative kind of environment, the learning is stamped out of the system. So this is about the loss of learning after the experimentation by Edward Lee Thorndike. And as usual, we have to apply in our classrooms. Hope you may remember the theory which we have seen and also the laws which was developed later discussed. What could be the application? What could be the applications of trial and error learning? Concept of reinforcement. So once we give the feedback, then the connection between the stimulus and response increases. So that's very important. So there is a stimulus and there is a response. Even we have learned from classical learning by conditioning. Learning is nothing but the connection between stimulus and response. This is what we call a mathematical expression for learning. A new connection between the stimulus and response. This bond has to be strong. If it is strong, then learning will be strong. What makes this bond strong? The reinforcement. So the concept of reinforcement is that if you give the feedback more about, then the connection will be more strong. And then arouse curiosity in learning, which we have seen in the law of readiness. We have to make them ready, which means that we can also tell some stories, quizzes, or questions of yesterday's class, or news, or simply we can talk about cricket for 1 to 2 minutes. That is what law of learning. So arouse the curiosity and then we can teach. Different opportunities to be provided in the class, encouragement to be provided, positive law of effect, encouragement to be provided. So then the learning will be the mind, stamped in the minds of the students. So these are the application, and generally one should remember that this trial and error, it falls in the domain of skill learning. So all skill learning takes this trial and error method of learning. And finally, so a little fun slide where this is a maze, and in the maze, generally if animal is kept out, it has to find the path to go and take the meal. But it is a modern rat equipped with the GPS. It directly goes and finds the meal. Thank you so much. We'll meet in next class with another video.